Hi traders, Nathan Bray here from ACY Securities. Well, today I'm going to show you 5 of the really cool tools that I like to use on our new proprietary trading platform called LogixTrader. So let's take a look. I'm looking at a chart here of the Aussie against the US dollar. I'm on a daily chart. Great charting package. Clearly we can see that the price or the trend at the moment on the daily is up. So we've got higher tops forming today, and of course higher bottoms. So we know the trend is your friend and it's moving technically in that right direction. But there's a few other things as a trader that I want to be able to check, because we're literally like 20 minutes away from the interest rate announcement. So on the right here, you can see we've got our own economic calendar. So we can see the forecast coming out on the Aussie. High impact trading event is going to be coming in at forecast at 4.35%. So basically, they're leaving it as is because previously it was also 4.35%. So the fact they're not cutting could add some strength to this Aussie dollar. That we know. But for me, yes, the trend is up. The forecast is for the leave interest rates as is. I want to do a bit more looking around myself. I want to know a few key facts. So I move over to our next tab. So interest rates, you'll see it over here on the right. So this interest rate section here tells us the major currencies around the world or economies and what their interest rates will be like. So you can see at the moment, the highest interest rates around the world are around 5% on the United States and a few days ago on Great Britain. Now, Australia, if they leave their interest rates as is, we're going to be looking at about 4.35%. So that being considered, we're above China, we're definitely above Switzerland, definitely above Japan, although they've finally gone positive, and definitely above the Euro area as well. So while everybody's starting this cutting, Australia could be leaving themselves as forecast on hold, adding some more potential strength to the Aussie and giving us an indication as to why the chart is heading in an upward trend. But still, that's not enough for me, folks. So I'm going to have a look at a few other aspects. The things I want to be able to look at, and I'll show you, it's really simple. I can, in our economic indicators area, I'm having a look at the Aussie flag there. Now, there's a few things I want to know. I want to know what's our GDP like? What's our inflation looking like in Australia? And also unemployment. 3 really key areas that I'd like to know about how Australia's traveling. So I can easily, because it's web-based, I just jump across here. Unemployment rate in Australia, we're sitting at around 4.2%. If I look down at the chart here, you'll see it's been very stable, and down to 4.2%, that's historically pretty low here in Australia. So for me, that's a positive. Then I'll go across and say, well, is inflation falling off a cliff? And we're going to start to see cuts coming into play. Well, let's take a look at inflation. Australian inflation year on year. Yes, it has pulled back, but it's nowhere near that 2% gauge. It is in the 3s now. So with Australian inflation annual rates here at 3.8%, it's forecast at the moment to stay around that level. So inflation, yes, it's pulled back a bit, but it's not down far enough to potentially start cutting rates. So that to me is steady and not rising. So we could very much therefore see the Australian dollar continue to maintain its strength based on the back of the current inflation rate. Then I want to look at GDP. How's the economy going with these, interest rates that have been raised, staying where they are? Unemployment's fine, but is productivity falling off a cliff? Well, very easily I can have a look at our GDP rate, and I can see, yes, it has pulled back, but it's nowhere near recessionary territory as yet. So GDP growth is smaller as projected, but it isn't falling off a cliff. It is steady, folks. So all of those reasons, 3 clicks, GDP's pulling back, but it's okay. Our inflation rate, it's also pulling back here in Australia, but it's nowhere near the level that we're going to be able to cut based on what our Reserve Bank said. And then our unemployment rate is down at traditional low levels. So all those fundamental reasons for me are a tick. We've got the trend going up and we've got our interest rate announcement coming out. So within a couple of minutes using LogixTrader, I'm able to get a really good snapshot of what's going on that may affect the Australian economy and of course the Australian currency. Now, in a moment, I'm going to come back and we'll have a look at the result once that interest rate announcement has come out. Okay, so the Australian interest rate announcement has just come out, and as forecast, we've got an interest rate left on hold at 4.35%. Now, based on that quick analysis we just did, we'd be suggesting that could be very positive initially for the Aussie. So let's go in and take a look. I'll move down to say a 15-minute chart to make sure we get a better idea of what we're looking at. And 15-minute chart tells us that, boom, we've got a break to the upside there on the Aussie, folks. So using this analysis tool, web-based, got everything in front of your eyes in just a couple of clicks. In a few minutes, we can make a fundamental assessment to go in line with our technicals, folks, and making sure that these news events are in front of our eyes, what's important, because what you need, folks, is what's in front of your eyes to be important and essential. That's all from me. Let's get ready for the next news event.